You're listening to DraftKings Network.
I hadn't actually heard the theory that seems marketing sinister and brilliant, that from no, I won't do your halftime show because I'm too big a star to bother with whatever your halftime show is, even though everyone needs to do that for free as an artist, or it costs them money because it's such an honor to have your music sold that day when everyone is watching. For Mike to suggest that some idea was hatched, well, how about we do it this way and grab younger fans and grab different fans? It's a plot sinisterly. Kelsey gets all the commercials. He becomes a star. We can, without Tom Brady and the old quarterbacks anymore, we can birth a new thing. The Kelseys as America's football people, like with an Amazon documentary. And like those commercials didn't get made quick, even though they might feel like them. That's all been in the works, like the documentary, the timing of the documentaries. Who can't sell the story? If you're going to lose all your old quarterbacks, who can't sell the story of two brothers meet in the Super Bowl and don't think about concussions or anything else? They're brothers and they're strong and they're winners and they're fun, and you can get around these two personalities as face of the league, even though they don't play the position Brady played.
You got to do the movie guy voice. In a world where two brothers meet across opposite sides of the gridiron.
I love the story, but this weekend, I mean, they're giving you just a pure football story. Like, it doesn't, for people who love football, when we talk about Taylor Swift, we're talking about broadening the audience, the NFL. You don't think they can broaden it, and every week it's bigger numbers than you've ever seen. TV numbers are shrinking everywhere. Everywhere they shrink. Late night doesn't even know how to keep up. The corporations are like eating up entertainment, just eating it up. But football's a monster and getting into business with everybody. With everybody. Anyone who's got money. No, Taylor Swift. You can't. We would like you to do the halftime show. She says no to them. And now we arrive at a football story, Mike, where it's the Cowboys and the 49ers this weekend. And it's not just the tradition of what these franchises have been, even though only one of them has actually been good since the 90s. And it's the 49ers now. The other one has been.
But they also haven't won.
That is correct, but everyone thinks they are the future of football. Everyone looking at them
They're
now
closer.
Saying who's going to beat them.
Well, most people would position the Cowboys, but this is a great legacy rivalry. It's got a lot of prestige to it, but also it's a recent rivalry. The Cowboys have been eliminated over the last 2 seasons by the San Francisco 49ers, and for the life of me, maybe he's duller than dog poo. I don't understand how Brock Purdy isn't leading debate television, Sports Center. He is quite literally Mr. Irrelevant. From a marketing standpoint, that's better than him going undrafted. That's better than the 5th-round draft pick of Tom Brady. He was the last pick of the NFL draft. He hasn't lost a game in which he started and finished. They seem like a machine.
Last week he had one incompletion. 92% of his passes
he is legitimately good. And we're not talking about him.
The way Tom Brady emerged from nowhere to be good.
This is the first time we've talked about Brock Purdy all week. They seem overwhelming. He was the last pick in the NFL draft. No one saw this coming. They traded away Trey Lance to the Cowboys, by the way. How is this not a captivate? We're going the lazy route of just, how do we get women and younger audiences interested? Let's get arguably the only thing bigger than our brand here in the country. Let's get Taylor Swift, and that's how we do that. How can you not market this quarterback?
McCaffrey's getting all the attention. He's on all the MVP. Like they're saying who could be the MVP. It's all quarterbacks and McCaffrey.
But you guys
But he deserves it too. He's a superstar in his own right. We can't do 2 things at once. Right. This is crazy to me. I think, okay, maybe you're hesitant to crown somebody early on. He went through a postseason. We're here in the second. It doesn't seem like he's got to turn into a pumpkin.
No, but I don't get why you don't understand that Jerry Jones's greatest gift, and there will be a 10-part Netflix documentary on him, is that he understood at all times that it was the circus. And if you're going to live like both these franchises have, off of the fumes of the 90s, like when you were the most powerful thing that helped build this sport to the size that it is, if we've been talking about you as a quarterback since college and you're a first-round pick and you play for the Cowboys, of course Dak Prescott is going to be like a star on his helmet. He's going to become a star because the marketing and selling of the Cowboys as a franchise is something Jerry has done despite not winning Despite not winning, no matter who his quarterback is, they're all the broadcasters for this league. Like whether it's Aikman or Romo, like the voice of this league and the face of this league is the power of Jerry Jones. But it's not because of his team. It's not because of what he's built or how good it is. It's because he knows it's all about stardom. Mike, you're so right about this. Brock Purdy has simply been excellent, and our quarterback analysis is generally shitty, so most people analyzing it can't actually explain to you why Shanahan can make him look like that. But it is possible that everyone got it wrong on who he was. Shanahan develops well, but when Shanahan wanted Trey Lance or didn't want Trey Lance, couldn't develop that. But Brock Purdy in this system is indisputably good, like good in a way that would make him a star if he weren't, that should make him more of a star because he was Mr. Irrelevant, because he was the last pick in the draft.
But over the last couple of years, if I say to you, what's the best roster in the NFL? Everyone has said this roster. I think that's hurting him, right? Like he's got McCaffrey now. Everyone has said for years, this is the best roster. So I think he's just like, I'm with Mike. I don't think he's bad, but it's just hard to give him all the credit when you've been telling me for 2 years that this is the best roster in football.
But also you've seen multiple quarterbacks come in and out and not be able to play the right way, right? Garoppolo led him with one throw away from the Super Bowl with the same roster.
I mean, that is leading him pretty far.
They trade up to get Trey Lance. He breaks his leg. He's shipped out of town. All of a sudden, Brock Purdy comes in after 2 quarterbacks down, and he's just incredible. Like, it doesn't make sense.
He's incredible. Like, if you Google Mr. Irrelevant, the best one ever is like Ryan Suckup. You know, they're never good. They're never good. This guy was good immediately. It's not like a guy that's been like hanging around the league and he developed and he took time. Like everybody was wrong about the guy. He comes in and he's an immediate upgrade at the position. They ran through 2 quarterbacks last year. He saves their season. We have an entire offseason in which he gets surgeries and we're wondering, all right, when's the bottom going to fall out? It hasn't. He's kept the machine going and he's seemingly improved. We're not talking about it.
I think another interesting thing here, because I think most people listening to this would concede some form of, if you think Shanahan is overrated, whatever you think, you know that him and that tree are good at producing organizational scheming that seems to work.
For everybody but RG3.
For everybody but RG3.
They weren't ready for RG3.
That is correct. It's unfortunate we weren't able to get back to that sound.
That was wild.
That he said that yesterday. Yes, that all of the geniuses weren't ready for what he brought. But
the staff was McVay, McDaniel, and Kyle Shanahan.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. All right, get the sound. Get the sound. Get the sound so people can play that. But the place that I was headed with Brock Purdy is you not only have someone no one thought was good, which is obviously great. You not only have him at that position, everyone continues to underrate how good he is. That's great. But the key component there, when you say, Chris, they have the best roster in football, good God, if you want to say value, like most valuable player, like value, what are you to my franchise? I'm getting that play that cheap at that position. Of course I can afford everybody else all over the field because I don't have to keep Tyreek Hill in Kansas City. I can pay all of these people. What a schematic financial advantage to have the quarterback be that good, that cheap. It helps them create the organizational gulf that makes all of us feel like they might be able to go undefeated.
They're winning inside the margins, and they realize, okay, we were paying Jimmy Garoppolo a lot of money. We wanted to add to the roster. We found a way to do so, but this is how we win in the explosive offensive positions. Let's give Deebo Samuel his money. Let's acquire the money of Christian McCaffrey, which at that position, it's hard to argue he's a value. He's somehow done it, and he's staying healthy. Let's pay Bosa his money. And we have not just, and by the way, this goes organizational wide. They're finding ways to win within the margins because if you see what Kyle Shanahan is doing with his staff, given how the NFL also rewards you for developing minority coaches and putting them in position of power, they're also stacking draft picks because D'Amico Ryans just went on to become a head coach. Their coordinators, if you look at them and the Los Angeles Rams, they have it. We have this king-making head coach. Let's have them develop these minority candidates. Let's build them up. Other coaches, other coaching jobs will open up, and we're going to get draft picks for this. That's actually the NFL's Rooney Rule working in the best way possible.
The other thing, too, is they draft well. Look at all the guys that they've drafted in-house that are now superstars.
Except Trey Lance. Like, that one doesn't stick to them
That's
because, well, no, but it's
arguably the
one.
worst trade in recent years.
Is it possible that Trey Lance is less about he's a flop or we didn't make the right pick or whatever, more about just what we just talked about, the financials. It was like, am I going to continue to pay for this guy to be my backup when my starter makes less than $900,000 a year?
They know how good he is. That's the thing. They know before any of us how good he actually is, right? Because we can sit here. This all shifted, Mike. You remember where it happened.
Trey Lance resets the clock to a degree, but he's still on a rookie contract. No matter his position, that's still affordable against their cap.
Sure, but Brock Purdy makes $870 this year, $985 next year, and then in 2025 he makes 1.1. That's 3 years under contract, a ridiculous number that allows you, as we said, because in a salary cap sport, every dollar you don't spend here is a dollar you can spend there.
I mean, they are where the Warriors were, where they said we're light years ahead. Because if they're doing it, look, we'll exploit the minority rule for a competitive advantage. Okay. We're going to birth a tree of coaches who are going to make the sport younger and faster and different. The part that I can't believe, though, is that Brock Purdy is playing at this value. If you've already got all the other advantages, there's not a bigger one than you can get great quarterback play.
Yeah, great quarterback
cheap,
play.
Not good quarterback
not
play.
serviceable.
But I think they're being wounded by, we saw Garoppolo, what he did. It ain't that. They're scoring 30 points a game. Like, it's not what they've added. Whatever you thought the 49ers were in getting to the Super Bowl, this version is better. Like, Garoppolo was not this.
I sincerely hope that people tune in to this game on Sunday night and it eclipses the number. Otherwise, we're going to be stuck seeing Taylor Swift trailers for a very long time. If you can't get behind these two teams, that uniform matchup, everything that goes into Cowboys 49ers, plus the miracle underdog story of Mr. Irrelevant leading a team to a possible Super Bowl at that position, that's fairy tale sports fan stuff. Please.
That's Kurt Warner.
Why do I have to beg the audience to watch this game?
That's Kurt Warner.
Watch this game.
From grocery store bag boy to the biggest star of the league.
And if you're looking at him playing, like, he's making big time throws in windows where you're like, this guy should not be making that throw.
You know what a signing bonus was? $77,000. Good Lord.
That's a good way.
Grocery store bag boy, not a nice description of Iowa State quarterback, Dan.
Let's close this segment out with a clip that confused us all. Because Mike McDaniel was also a minority candidate that the San Francisco 49ers got a draft pick for. We were all very confused by RG3's time in Washington. Man, we did so many shows about what was going on there. And time has told us that was a pretty good coaching staff that was assembled around him. RG3 begs to differ. Most people would look at the surface. You had a wonderful rookie season, and the coaches that you had in Washington, they revisit every time they're on primetime football. Look at this staff. It's an all-star staff of coaches. And while Andy Reid certainly has this great reputation, Kyle Shanahan is now looked at as one of those guys, and he was with you in Washington. And when you talk about cohesiveness throughout the organization, what was the single biggest impediment to you in Washington from that amazing rookie year and all that promise to where things turned for you? Because a lot has been written about it, and I haven't heard so much from you. So what was it?
Yeah, I mean, I think your point is kind of going back to that graphic of all the coaches that were in Washington that are now head coaches and doing extremely well. You talk about Kyle Shanahan, you're talking about Sean McVay, Mike McDaniel, Matt LaFleur, and even Bobby Slowick, who's the coordinator for the Texans right now. It's one of those situations where in life certain things just weren't meant to be. So although all those coaches have gone on to become head coaches and are doing really good in the league or great in the league right now, at that time they just weren't ready for that. And I do think it was because of the structure of the organization from the top down, how they did business. And what I didn't know going into Washington was that there was a rift between the owner and the head coach. I didn't know that. Listen, man, I was a 22-year-old kid coming in there, having all my dreams come to a reality, being able to play quarterback in the NFL, playing with some of my favorite players ever when Santana Moss, talking about Chris Cooley, Trent Williams, our left tackle, London Fletcher was our middle linebacker. It's like I was living the dream and didn't understand that the NFL, at that time, I didn't understand the NFL is purely a business.
Can we have him back on? I have so many more questions for him now. There were those reports that he went to a whiteboard and he showed guys like Mike Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay. Man, it sounds insane trying to get all these names out. LaFleur, exactly how to use the talents of RG3 entering his second season. That's wild to me.
Sounds like a visionary to me.
It sounds like RG3 thought that he was born a couple of years too soon for them, that if he had gotten to the league when they knew a little bit more, that they would be able to turn him into whatever Lamar Jackson became. Because RG3 was playing. Mike, are you forgetting how good he was?
Yeah, no, but they were there for his rookie season. You know? They were ready. They were ready a year. They were ready. Yeah, no, that's the thing. He got hurt. That's the only thing. What, they were ready for you rookie year, but they weren't ready for you second year?
That's right.
There can't be things they do a little better, Mike. They did what they wanted, but like, hey guys, I could be even better.
Look, he RG3, when he speaks, he has his agenda too, and he's entitled to his opinion. We're all trying to wonder what went wrong with RG3, and given that coaching staff success after being with RG3, and don't sell Kyle Shanahan short, by the way. He almost made the playoffs with Brian Hoyer pre-RG3. Seemed plenty ready then. All right? Like, it would appear that the schism that was put there between the ownership and the head coach was over RG3. They had Kirk Cousins on their roster. They probably had feelings about Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is the NFL leading passer right now. It would appear that Robert Griffin III was at the forefront of the schism, maybe even the schism.
Give RG3 Justin Jefferson, see what happens.